All right, so welcome to Aaron Ash. Today I'm going to be hosting just a mini workshop and a frequency alignment to kind of help you hone in on what your kind of expectations and your vibration is giving off based on those expectations. So if you're joining me live, thank you for joining live. If you are watching the recording, what's going to happen is that this video is going to store all of the same energy, information, frequency, all of that stuff so that you can watch it later and tune into this exact same energy that we're doing live, which is kind of cool. So today, focusing your expectations and focusing that vibration on the outcome that you desire, not the outcome that our minds kind of can tend to take us on a little journey, So if we have a lot of negative thoughts or things like that pop up, sometimes they gain momentum, and then the outcome, for law of attraction anyway, the outcome ends up being the thing that we don't want to have happen, not the thing that we do. And a lot of that to me deals with your energy, your frequency, your vibration of what you're actually giving off. So this is why, while I love affirmations and all of that kind of stuff, it's not necessarily the be all end all, because if your energy does not match, if your vibration does not match that you're asking for and that you're desiring, it will jump all over the place. It'll go back and forth from being in that higher frequency of the affirmation, and then it'll drop back down into the reality of what picture you've painted as reality is going to be the outcome. And that's why I kind of wanted to focus on expectation. So the beginning of this little workshop, what I want to do is I want you to have like a notebook or a journal handy, some kind of piece of paper that you can write on. So if you need to grab something, go ahead and do that. And as you're doing that, I just wanted to explain a little bit about vibration in general and why it's so important. So basically, when you are having feelings, thoughts, desires, I call them rockets of desire, right? And you have whatever outcome it is that you want, you are constantly giving off this energetic vibration, this frequency out into the universe. And that is what the universe is going to respond to. And so therefore, if your energy, your frequency is not aligned, you're going to just keep attracting the same old stuff. You're not going to end up attracting the thing that you want. And that is why, to me, having a higher frequency or vibration is so valuable. And to try to stay in that frequency as much as possible. Now, it's not, okay, we live in a world that has so much contrast, right? Which some people can say is like a negative feeling, negative emotion, negative experience, something like that. I don't necessarily see it that way, but I do understand why other people do. So that being said, when we experience contrast, it also includes like these rockets of desire of wanting sort of the opposite, which is great because then we know what we want. But it also can keep us in this lower sort of frequency and vibration. So what I want you to do is I want to have you I want you to pick one particular thing that has been on your mind the most lately, right? So it could be, and I'll give you some examples just as like just kind of normal things and categories that people tend to, focus on a lot. So one is obviously love, right? Love and relationships. Another one is money and usually the lack thereof. Let's see, what else? Health, right? Health and wellness. So whether that's mental health or physical or both, because usually they can coincide quite a bit. When we're physically unhealthy, we are emotionally drained and everything else. So then it affects every other category of our life as well. So those are just some examples of some of the things that I kind of help people with the most, right? Is tuning into their vibration of what they're experiencing and how to sort of reset that, so that they can move through the feelings or let the feelings actually move through them and then come out on the other side. So I want you to pick a category of something that you've really been desiring. And money, right? It could be a new job. Maybe you want that dream job, you want that remote job or whatever it is. Maybe maybe you're like me, because I'm going to share a little bit of my own too as we're doing this. Maybe you're like me, maybe you want more coaching clients, more clients in general. Even if you're in sales or marketing, maybe you want more clients. So whatever it is that you're desiring, and I want you just to kind of write that particular thing down right now. Just take a moment to write that down. So what is it that you are focused on the most and desiring the most in your life right now? So just take a moment to do that. And as soon as you do that, we will move forward. All right, so most people already kind of have an idea of what it is that they've been looking for, asking for, right? So now that you've done that, I want you to think a little deeper into this. What story have you been telling yourself around that particular desire? What story have you been telling yourself? Is it, oh, you know what, I haven't found the love of my life yet, and therefore, like, is he or she or this person even out there? So we can have these stories that kind of replay in our minds over and over, and we start to even maybe not even notice them because they're just so, reoccurring. So I want you to ask yourself, what story are you telling yourself around this particular category? So take a moment to write that down as well. All right. And then being really honest with that story, right? Because that's important too. Like being honest with yourself. If the story is I'm going to be a millionaire one day and that's your story, but under the surface, more often you think the opposite, right? Oh my God, I'm running out of money. Oh my God, this is going to happen. Da, 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 right? So whatever that recurring story is, that's the truest kind of version of what comes up the most is what you want to focus on, for just a moment anyway. and just thinking about what that feels like. So when you tell yourself that story, even if you were to say it out loud, what does it feel like? Because that is the vibration that we're typically emitting the most. That's the one that we're sending out as signals and what we're kind of usually getting back as well. So focus on the feeling. And now the next question I want you to ask yourself is, if you could imagine the best case scenario happening, the best case scenario, right? You meet the love of your life in the grocery store tomorrow, right? Or you hit the jackpot tonight, like, whatever it is, but particularly pertaining to your story, I want you to think of what the highest outcome could be, like the best possible case scenario. And I want you to write that down. So take a moment to really think about that. What is the best case scenario of what I'm actually asking for? Because that's the picture that sometimes we fear really even considering or holding, because there's so much hope that gets tied to it. And hope is actually a very high frequency. It's a beautiful frequency. It's just that the thing that happens after we feel hope is usually the fears and the doubts and the da 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 that come along behind it. But hope itself is a high frequency. So maybe tap into that a little, right? What would it be like to have the best case scenario happen? So just take a minute to journal that. And even if you are attending live or not, it's no problem. Like, you can replay this and ask these questions and do a little deeper dive on these if you want to later. So, and now what I want you to do, which is this is what we're going to do next in our meditation. It's just going to be a little mini meditation that you're going to do with me, because that's when you tap into the subconscious mind and out of the conscious mind, you start to tap into, well, in meditation anyway, you can tap into sort of that quantum field, quantum healing. And that vibration can be so pure and so invigorating and enlightening that that's the energy that I wanted to work with you guys with today. So what would that feel like to have that desired outcome happening right now? Because this is really how manifestation actually works too, by the way. So I want you to hold that feeling for just a moment. what does that feel like? And I can even just picture for myself, like the feeling that I get is usually peace, bliss. I feel exhilaration, fulfillment, right? I feel um, absolutely trusting and in love with my life. That's what I feel like when I'm truly aligned to the thing that I'm desiring and imagining that outcome being exactly what I really want. So I want you to kind of just embody those feelings for a moment, as if you already had this thing just miracle, right? Magically appear right now. So just bringing that vibration, bringing that frequency up, even just through feelings and thought before even meditation. So holding that for just a moment. Now, let's see. So what I want to do next is I wanted to do a little mini guided meditation with you. So if you've never meditated before, I have other videos too that kind of share a little bit how to do that, but we're going to do just a mini one right now. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen a couple where I've done this. But for the first part, what I want you to do is get really comfortable, right? Wherever you're sitting or if you're laying, whatever it is. And even if you can't quite close your eyes wherever you are, that's okay. But if you can replay this later and do it with your eyes closed, it just helps you. It helps you focus internally more than the external, which is helpful, obviously, when you're trying to focus so that you can kind of get to a place where you can unfocus. That's like the way I see it. It's like getting into meditation, focus, and then you're sort of like blissing. I'm going to say blissing out. That's totally not a term. It's fine. You're sort of blissing out, and you like, even when you're running, it's like that runner's high, whatever, same kind of feeling where you're like, all of a sudden you're just in this zone. So that's where we're going to go right now. So I'm going to close my eyes as I walk you through this. And if you can, I would love for you to do the same. So yeah, if you're watching this, you're just going to basically see me sitting here with my eyes closed for a moment. That's okay. So I want you to close your eyes and just take a deep breath in for a moment. Take a nice deep sip of air, all the way filling up your lungs. And exhale. And I want you to do that 2 more times. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And exhale. Nose or mouth, whatever's comfortable. Take 1 more. Nice deep breath in. And let it go. Good. Now stay with your eyes closed for a moment, and I want you just to begin to tune in to how you feel right now. And usually there's just a few little words that kind of bubble up, pop up, and it's like it could be, you know what, I've had a stressful day, and so maybe it's stress, maybe it's anxiety, maybe you just worked out, maybe you're already feeling really relaxed. So I want you just to tune into how you feel for just a moment. And now I want you to start to tune into the body and how the body feels. And it's not around stories, it's just feelings. It's not the story of why you feel tired. It's just, oh, you know what, I feel a little tired. So sort of already going into the major feelings, not so much all the thoughts, because they are different. Now, as you're tuning into these feelings of whatever's kind of there, even in the body, maybe your knee's been bothering you, maybe you've had some stomach issues lately, or whatever it is. And I want you just to tune into the body for a moment and take 1 really nice deep breath there. And I'm just going to do a little energy. I'm going to send some energy into this video, this moment, this recording. I want you to take a nice deep breath of air and release it. Sort of imagining an energy just kind of sloughing off, and it floats off sort of into the distance. Whatever needs to kind of be let go of and released is going to slowly fade away, just little by little, even for just a moment. And as it does that, I want you to now go down to, so where you're sitting, right? Where the tip of the tailbone is at the very bottom part of your spine. I want you to imagine that this area is just going to become a little heavier for just a moment, almost like a little anchor. It's just going to anchor you into the place that you're sitting right now, this exact moment, this exact space. And I want you to feel almost that stability that kind of comes along with it. Just being anchored right where you are, which is exactly where you're supposed to be right now. And once again, just feel the body. Now we're going to jump forward a little bit because I want to have you sit in the frequency, like I said, of having what you want for just a moment. So I want you to go back into what you just journaled, but you can do it with your eyes closed if you can remember what you wrote. So think of that topic, right? That category that you've been launching these rockets of desire. So I want you to go into that category. And we're not going to go into the story of what we've been telling ourselves. We're going to go into the story of, I just received the outcome of what I really want. And that's what I want you to feel again. Did it begin with hope or faith? Maybe it just felt really rewarding. Overwhelming is the word that just popped up in my head too. If you've never really even thought about feeling everything that you really want and desire, maybe you've never felt this before. So it can be overwhelming as well, especially if it's like health related issues, imagining sitting there healthy, ailment free, you're not sick, feeling the body feel healthy, almost as if it's completely filled up with just healthy cells. Maybe you've been wanting that love of your life and just imagining what love like that feels like and the vibration that that gives off. I want you to paint that picture for yourself for a moment. Having everything that you really want in this, area of your life. What does it feel like? And just breathe as you're doing this, just kind of imagining and feeling that bliss, that ease, just feeling really that higher self, that higher vibration of the desire. And I want you to sit in that moment, maybe even letting yourself play out a little new story, right? A new image of having what you want. Maybe a little movie, like a little scene of you walking in the room and feeling exactly the way you actually want to feel. And I want you just to feel that for a moment and focus on that vibration, that feeling. Our higher selves are always there with us, and that version of us will always give us hints and notes and information, and will send us these same vibrations if we can tune out of our current circumstance and world long enough to hear them, to hear our intuition, to hear and see and feel what it is that is actually possible. And now I want you to almost even, like, if you can, actually put your hand on your heart for a moment, either hand. And I want you just to feel the love of that outcome really quick. So it's like love, just focus on that word, being in love with the way you feel, even being in love with your life, trusting, just trusting everything that's happening. Feel that for a moment, as if you could almost feel your heart vibrating in that higher space, that higher frequency. And on your next inhale, I want you to drink this energy in. So that's what I want you to imagine this. I want you to take a nice deep breath in through the nose, open the mouth, and exhale. And take one more in, and you're just drinking this energy in. I want you to almost even feel your face begin to smile. Maybe you even feel a little giddy and excited. I want you to take another deep breath in and exhale through the mouth. Good. You can lower your hand. I want you to just feel this energy for a moment before you begin to move or open your eyes. Just to feel into this feeling. It feels solid and joyful and easy. There's a sense of ease that comes along with no longer feeling just the struggle all the time. So feel that for a moment. And then I want you to begin by just moving your fingers a little bit, move your fingertips, maybe shake your head side to side. Maybe you start to bring a little bit of movement into your feet, your toes. And then when you're available to do this, I want you to start to begin to open your eyes and kind of coming back to this space. So blinking your eyes open, taking a moment. So now what I want you to do, since you're kind of present again, I want you to maybe take your journal and write down what you saw. What image, what feeling, what was it that sticks out the most to you, of having your desire, of claiming your desire as happening, right? What image was it? What room did you walk into? What did it feel like? And just bookmark that feeling. So write that down. And maybe even begin by daydreaming, right? Like if you come back to this video later and maybe you want to journal a little bit longer after or tonight before you go to bed, I want you to do the same thing. Bring that feeling, this bookmark right now, back and start to paint that picture of having what it is that you want. Because while it can be really scary to be that hopeful, I'm just gonna say that if we've had our hopes, you know, really high before and we felt like it dropped, right? Like the shoe dropped and the other shoe dropped and that's that. We can sometimes be too afraid to have hope again. And I think that is where changing our rockets of desire can begin, is to actually be hopeful and have faith that maybe the higher outcome is actually possible. If we even allow ourselves to play in that energy for long enough, that we can move ourselves out of the doubt and the fear. So maybe enjoy journaling a little bit about that. Just play around with it. Use your imagination. You know, what would it feel like to have everything that you are asking for right now, and just play that out a little bit and see what comes out. And even if it's just for fun. All right, I think that kind of sums up our mini workshop for today. And I will send out this recording later as well. So even if you attended live, I will make sure to send it to you anyway so that you can watch it again later in case you want to do the mini meditation again. All right, well, I'm super excited that I got to do this mini workshop. I'll definitely be hosting more things like it coming up. So, but today was just kind of a fun way to, I guess, begin that new little journey even for myself, and you know, checking into my own desires as well. So, all right, well, thank you guys for attending. I'm gonna stop recording and then I will see you guys soon. All right, bye.